Order of the November 13th, 2023 St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement Special Magistrate meeting to order. This is a hearing of the Special Magistrate of the City of St. Pete Beach. The function of the Special Magistrate is to hear testimony and receive evidence and make an impartial determination of whether a code enforcement violation has occurred. The Special Magistrate during this hearing shall review the evidence that's set forward and the code is set forth in the St. Pete Beach Code of Ordinances to make a determination if the evidence rises to the level that there is a code enforcement violation. My name is Erica Augello. I am the Special Magistrate for the City of St. Pete Beach. I am a lawyer in the state of Florida. I am barred by the Florida Bar. I am board certified in city, county, and local government law. I do not work for the City of St. Pete Beach. I have been appointed by the City of St. Pete Beach, though, to have these impartial hearings. Today's hearings will go in the order that they are presented on the agenda unless otherwise decided by the city and the applicant, or excuse me, the city and the respondent. The city will go first. They will go ahead and present their evidence. The respondent will then have an opportunity to respond to the city's evidence. An argument will be heard. As this is a hearing, all evidence will be taken under oath. Although formal rules of evidence do not apply, I will ensure that everyone has a fair shake and that the due process is afforded to all parties. At the end of the hearing, I will go ahead and render an order unless I find that it is more complicated and needs to have a little bit more briefing done on the matter, and then I will render an order at a date in the future. That order will be reduced to writing and it will be sent to all parties. So if you would please sign in at the podium when you come up, please stating your name and address, as well as an email address if you would like that order to be sent to you. As this is a hearing, I will go ahead and administer the oath. I will let you know that I do not have the ability to grant anyone a variance or a special exception. I am here impartially just to hear evidence and to make a ruling on the matter presented here today. So all those wishing to speak today, if you could please raise your right hand and be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm that do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
So sworn.
The first two cases are continued. Yeah?
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Madam Magistrate. I'll go ahead and start. Case number, the property is 636. It's case 3H 2023-0559. We got a request from the respondent's attorney due to a scheduling conflict to continue this to the December 11th special magistrate. The city has no objection. We would just like an order of continuance.
Okay. Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? No? Okay. I will go ahead and grant that continuance and get you an order stating same.
Thank you. And then, Pete, if there's anything else, now would be the time.
The case under 3A, 2023-0340. It's complied. We're requesting a status hearing. Got it. The only one that's changed is 636 Corey.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so 3H is the only one that we're continuing until the December 11th hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and there's no further changes to the agenda?
No, and if I may, Madam Magistrate, Madam Clerk, is December 11th, am I right on the date for the code enforcement? My apologies. I just want to, with the holidays, some of the meetings got moved around.
Yes, it's December 11th, 2023.
Okay. All right.
According to your website.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So then moving on to agenda item 2A, case number 2023-0340, City of St. Pete Beach versus Paradise Caprice.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. I'm Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. This is pertaining to the address 521 71st Avenue. It looks like they opened up a permit. They still haven't fulfilled everything that was needed to actually get the permit opened. So the city's going to be recommending $250 a day from 7/12/2023 until compliant, till they actually open up the permit.
Okay, so until the permit is actually issued to the property.
Yes, ma'am. It looks like they're pretty close. They sent a survey. They didn't do the corrective things that were asked of them by our planning and zoning official, which is Kristen Coleman. She gave some notes on what to do. on the survey, and it was not fulfilled properly. So they're still got some tweaks that need to be done, so they're fairly close, but unfortunately, they didn't get it opened in time.
Okay, and you're asking all the way back from July 12th, correct?
7/12/2023. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Paradise Caprice, anyone here on behalf of the respondent? Okay, as the prior order gave them until November 11th, 2023 to apply for and secure that permit. They have not complied with that order, therefore I will go ahead and find that the property is again in violation. I will assess a fine of $250 a day from July 12th, 2023 until the property comes into compliance. It is the respondent's responsibility to notify the city when the property comes into compliance, and I will also go ahead and assess reasonable costs.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Okay. That moves us to case 2B, case number 202300302, City of St. Pete Beach versus the Jablonskis.
Thank you, Special Magistrate Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. I would just like to add some evidence here due to their 14-day extension. If you go to the overhead, Ryan, thank you. They have fulfilled the front of the yard as well as the back that was previously done during the Special Magistrate hearing from last month. And just updated pictures on compliance. So the city will not be asking for fines, but it will be asking for administrative costs, please.
Louis, could you tell us the dates they were taken and those pictures when they were taken?
Yes, this was about a week after the Special Magistrate hearing. These were taken by the planning and zoning officials, so I apologize. These are what was sent to me via email from Brandon Barry, who did the last assessment since he was doing the planning and zoning for the survey that was given by Mr. Jablonski. He went there, got the approval, emailed me with these two pictures. So these are the pictures that I pulled from his email confirming that they have come into compliance.
Okay, and that was before the October 26th date set forth in my previous order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I will find that the property is now compliant, and I'm not going to assess a fine, but I will assess reasonable costs to the city. Okay, moving on to new cases. Case 3A, it's 202304337, City of St. Pete Beach versus Gulf West Properties. Would the city like to make its presentation?
Thank you, Special Magistrate Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. Just first off, hey Sheila, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Louis, could you move that over there?
I am. I don't want to get cut off.
No, take the phone.
Over cuts me off. Okay.
So she can hear the Special Magistrate.
All right, thank you. This is Code Enforcement Case Number 2023-0437. The respondent is Gulf West Properties, LLC. Violation address is 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. Violation description: the property is in violation of Section 9866, Residential and Commercial Property Maintenance, A, B, 20, 22B, 1, and 3 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: the initial inspection was 7/24/2023. Notice of violation dated 7/25/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 7/30/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/19/2023. And just to state in the beginning, this is true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting, October 19, 2023, at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. And as you can see here, Special Magistrate, these are tree branches that are interfering with the use of the sidewalk, which goes against our City Code of Ordinance at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. Another shot of the trees interfering with the access to the sidewalk. Overgrown grass on the property at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. This is in the city right of way. Another shot of that. the overgrown grass on the property. Another shot of overgrown grass on the property as well. Another shot there on the other side of the property. 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. Dead palm fronds accumulated on the property at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. Yard waste accumulated, whether it be tree branches, palm fronds, leaves piled up, things such as that have accumulated on the property at the time of September 13, 2023. Different picture of the yard waste accumulated on the property. This was the grass cut and the debris removed September 28, 2023. I talked with the owner of the property, Sheila Hutman, at the time. She had some problems with getting the notice of violations and the courtesy notice and the notice of hearing. At the time, she said that her registered agent wasn't getting to her in a timely manner, but as soon as she said she realized that she was getting these notices and had received them, it took about a week for her to get this all cleaned up. So I just want to make that known, so that's why the continuance came into today to speak in front of you. But this is September 28, 2023, when it came into compliance, when she called me to let me know everything had been cleaned up. These are just different shots. Grass cut and debris removed all along the property line. This is where the tree branches had been cut back so that access to the sidewalk was very easy. Grass cut and debris removed on that side. And Special Magistrate, as you can see here, it looks like there was a lot more grass at the time, and this is what I'm just showing, that this is a reoccurring problem that's happened at this property. This is dated back to 2021. A previous code enforcement officer was called, obviously, to the property for overgrown grass. And I just want to make a note of it so that Ms. Hutman doesn't feel surprised about anything. It looks, as you can see here, that there actually was quite a bit of grass at the time. And if you could see what it looks like now, it looks like it's basically dead. So that may be a future violation that, may incur if no growth happens to come back on the property. So I just want to make that be known so it doesn't feel like I'm, going back at the property owner. But it looks like when I first went to the property, there was some grass that it was growing back, and maybe whatever the case may be, whether it's a hurricane or whatever the circumstances are where it's not being taken care of properly, it looks like the grass is dying. So I just want to make that known. But I just want to show here in 2021 that this is a reoccurring problem at this property where overgrowth, debris on the property, things such as that nature. This was 8/10/2021, overgrown grass on the property. Different shot of that as well. Special Magistrate there. This is 8/10/2021 at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. And another violation that was a code case in 12/13/2021. At 7060 Boca Ciega Drive, it looks like that there was a huge pile of yard waste on the property at the edge. This was another code enforcement case at that property, so that's the second one. And another case in 2022 of yard waste accumulating, palm fronds accumulating, overgrown grass. This was 6/21/2022 at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. Another picture of the palm fronds accumulating. Palm fronds and overgrown grass. Overgrown grass on the city right-of-way there on the property at 7060 Boca Ciega Drive. And another picture there of palm fronds accumulated on the property. The corrective action. Property owner must cut and maintain the property regularly. The property is compliant. There is no recommended fines at this time, but the city will be asking for administrative costs and obviously to find the property in violation for any future things that occur, for it to obviously be a repeat violation.
Okay, so I do have a few questions. I see that this is not a repeat violation, so the two previous code cases that you referenced were not to demonstrate that there had been previous violations, just that those previous violations had been remedied prior to any order from a magistrate?
Yes, Special Magistrate. They never got past any point of talking with the renters because this is a rental property. If I may speak out of turn, the property owner may say different, but to my knowledge, this is a rental property. So the people that were living there, whenever the code enforcement officer went to go talk with them, it looks like it was remedied before it ever got to the point that it's at now. But I just wanted to show that it continues to happen, regardless of who's renting it. Obviously, as you know, it's on the property owner to make sure that their property is taken care of.
Sure, I'll have you know, I'm not going to be considering the evidence that was submitted for the 2 previous code cases, as I don't find it relevant to the case that's happening here today, as there's no allegation of a repeat violation. I do have a question. Could you go back to the pictures of the overgrown grass that are specific to this violation? And I note that your code says grass, weeds, and uncultivated vegetation that exceed 10 inches in height. I can't tell from this photograph that it's 10 inches. When you visited the property, did you measure it at all? Do you know if it's 10 inches?
Not specifically. It was very close, so that's why I took pictures of it, and it was being unmaintained. There was no one there at the time for me to even talk to. When I knocked on the door, there was no renters there. So I don't know what kind of situation the rental property was at that time. But no, I didn't specifically measure the grass.
Okay.
Madam Special Magistrate,
Yes.
Pete Doerr on behalf of the city. The reason for adding those additional pictures from years ago is that there's a recurrence at this property. And so the understanding your decision about not including them in this instant, but it's just a recurrence and the fact that it's habitual.
Sure, I understand that, but that's not going to factor into my decision here
Thank you,
today.
ma'am.
Okay, anything else from the city?
No, that is all. Thank you,
Okay.
Special Magistrate.
And I understand we have the property owner on the phone, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it Ms. Hutman?
Yes.
Okay, and Ms. Hutman, were you on the telephone when I administered the oath to the crowd here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just to verify, because we are on the record, do you swear to tell the truth in any of your statements here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead and respond to what the city has presented here today?
Well, yes and no. I am not denying that the property, as when I did find out, did need to be addressed. The 2 things the dead grass is from the last hurricane, the brown. That's what the brown is from. I do believe that the posting there are 2 doors there. We never knew about any of this. And the 2 doors there, they're posting apparently on Boca Ciega, and that is not the door that the renters use or anyone uses. It's the one, I guess it's on 70th. So we actually did not know about this until we had a tenant that we were evicting. This is not an excuse. I'm just telling you the background. That the property manager was walking the property and saw that this notice on the door. We did not know about this. And then after that, we started getting things from somebody received an attorney, I don't know what it's called, that they send the notices to. It's a legal office. And then we started getting it. I actually had already known about it before. We knew that we had to fix the property, but did not know that notice was there. It was an eviction there.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
It does make sense. So do you happen to recall when you were notified of the status of the property?
Well, I'd have to look at when they moved out, but I can go back to the move-out notice. I mean, not the move-out notice, let me see where that is. It would have been in July.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have that file right in front of me.
No, no
But,
worries.
they finally moved out, and we were walking the property and then saw that. As far as the other notices, we actually have not gotten. I have not received, and we haven't. That doesn't mean the property shouldn't have been kept up. There was the other extenuating circumstances there was a lot of construction going on at that particular area there on Boca Ciega. And that is not an excuse. That I'm just telling you that was going on. I I have not been on the property for a couple of years. I am up here because of my husband's health. And we came up here 3 years ago because of that. I know this is the first notice that I know of.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to say in support of your position, Ms. Hutman?
Well, I hope we don't ever do this again. This is not something I would like. I don't do this. I maintain my property, so this is not something I like forgetting the legal circumstances. This is not the way to run a property.
Okay.
May I ask one question?
Yes, you may.
Hello, my name is Matthew McConnell. I'm the Assistant City Attorney. Can you hear me okay?
Are you asking me a question?
Yes.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Hutman, he's speaking with you.
I'm speaking to you, Ms. Hutman. Sorry about that.
To say it again, I did not hear you.
Okay, my name is Matthew McConnell. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to just ask you one question based on the testimony that you gave today. Is it your testimony that you acknowledge and admit to the violations in the notice of violation, which include 98, 66, 20, and 22, and that you've corrected those as of today?
I'm acknowledging it because you're telling me. I didn't know about it, but I'm assuming everything has been corrected. If there's something else I don't know about, I can't acknowledge it. Is there something else that we didn't do?
No, I'm just having you acknowledge the fact that in the beginning of your testimony, you said you could have been keeping the property more up to date and maintained, and you've taken care of everything.
Say that there was also a hurricane. Whatever was not done, I accept the responsibility. I'm not, I do believe a property should be kept. And, the neighborhood is a very lovely neighborhood, and we're not at all there not to run it properly.
Okay. That will suffice, Madam Magistrate.
All right, if there's nothing else from the city, anything else, Ms. Hutman, that you'd like to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay, anything else from the city?
Nope, no, thank
Okay,
you.
I am going to find that the property was in violation. However, the property is now in compliance. I am not going to assess any fines on the property, but I will assess reasonable administrative costs. And you will receive an order to that effect. Thank you, Mrs. Hutman.
Thank you, Special
Wait a
Magistrate.
second. I want to make sure I get where will I get this bill? I want to make sure I get it.
Mr. Cruz, do you have Ms. Hutman's contact information?
All I have is her number. I don't have her email, but I could always call her and get an email and send that over.
Okay,
But you do have my post office. You do have the address to send things to, correct?
To the registered agent on file that you were having problems with.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
yeah, if you guys could if you'll call Ms. Hutman after the hearing, and Ms. Hutman, you'll be, please be expecting a call from the city.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Phone calls. Phone calls. No, or they show up. It's just not, it's not.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 3B, case number 20230204, City of St. Pete Beach versus the Helmers. Would the city like to make its presentation?
Yes, good morning, Madam Magistrate. Stephen Rivera on behalf of the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement.
Louis. Is he on there?
Mr. Helmer?
Louis. Take the phone back to the Special Magistrate. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Helmer, it's about time. The city is going to make its presentation. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so after the city makes its presentation, I'll go ahead and acknowledge you, and you can respond to what they've said, okay?
Okay, I quite didn't catch what you were saying, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I said the city's going to make its presentation, and once they're done, I will acknowledge you, and you can go ahead and respond to the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera?
Okay, this is case number 2023-0204. Respondents are Patrick F. and Carolyn M. Helmer. Violation address is 6461 Fourth Palm Point. Violations description. The property is in violation of section 23.13, maintenance of off-street parking and loading areas of driveways. 9865, unsightly conditions, 1B and 3. 9866, residential and commercial property maintenance, A, B, 2A, B, 3B, 4, and 7 of the Land Development Code and the City of Ordinance of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary, initial inspection was 3/29/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/26/2023. Notice of violation compliance date was 10/10 of 2023. Notice of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/24 of 2023. The following is a true and accurate representation of what I witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting, 6461 Fourth Palm Point. This is a picture of the driveway. It's cracked and uneven. It looks like there's tree roots or something growing underneath of it, pushing it around. It's another picture of the driveway in disrepair. This is the interior work that was demoed. The permit was in review. The work had started before the permit was finalized. This was back, this photo was taken again in October of 2023. They weren't supposed to start any work until the permits were finalized. This is the debris that was taken out from the kitchen, from the demolition. This was in the dumpster that was in the driveway. This was back in March of 2023. It's a retaining wall that's got a pretty significant crack in it. This is the window trim is broken apart. It's like concrete. The concrete's failing, the rebar's showing. The window shutter's rotted. Paint's peeling off of it. You can see here the fascia board's got peeling paint as well. Another picture of the fascia board. The garage also has peeling paint. Corrective action, finalize permit on file and complete renovations, repair window trim and shutter, repaint garage door and fascia, repair large crack on exterior wall, and driveway needs to be repaired or resurfaced. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 10/11/2023 until permit is finalized. Repairs have been made and a construction plan has been submitted, plus reasonable administrative costs. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay. Mr. Helmer, would you like to go ahead and respond to the city's presentation?
Yes. I don't know what the gentleman was reading from. Who was speaking, please, first?
First, well, before we begin, Mr. Helmer, were you on the line when I administered the oath?
No.
Okay. So if I could just confirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. The gentleman who just spoke was Mr. Stephen Rivera. He is the code enforcement officer for the city of St. Pete Beach.
Okay. Good to meet you. Wish it was under different circumstances. I've got two sets of notices in front of me, and I don't see all of the chapters that you were referring to on the paperwork that I have. So I'm not going to question that what you're reciting is accurate or not. I'm sure it is accurate. But in response to some of the things, as I was telling Mr. Dorr earlier this morning, I was not aware in a timely fashion of the September 26th notice, but when we received the certified letter, we spoke with our contractor to address, and I believe that he had addressed this with building department, not code enforcement, but with the building department, because we were in the process of trying to submit plans for permit approval, and not to belabor that point, we had several contractors and an architect basically withdraw from us when it was determined that we needed structural plans to be submitted as well. We got a preliminary set of plans back in the spring that came out of plan review with 6 red lines, and we addressed those red lines, and we thought we were pretty shortly going to have the actual permit in hand. And with that in mind, our contractor was verbally told that it would be okay to remove some loose items and trash and what have you from inside and around the house, and that's what they did. They removed appliances, carpeting, and stuff like that. But there really has not been any true, what you would call, demolition done in the house. So we understand that we aren't supposed to start until we have the permit in hand, but he was given a verbal okay to remove trash. Then we find out that we need to have the engineer in hand. Well, you guys know this as well as I do. Finding people to do that kind of work is difficult these days, and it's time consuming. So it did take some time, and I was trusting my contractor to take point on all of this stuff. So when this September notice showed up, I asked him to take care of it. I thought that he had taken care of it within the context of us working on plans to submit along with engineering to pull the permit. Well, that did take until I want to say 2 weeks ago tomorrow, before we were able to finally get those plans submitted. The items that are identified in the notice are all going to be addressed as part of that permit and the subsequent work, except for, as I mentioned to Mr. Dora earlier, we weren't planning on doing the driveway until later on in the project, because there'll be construction traffic, people coming in and out, et cetera, and we're still contemplating putting in a paver system. So we had it repaired when we first undertook the project, but those repairs they were temporary and they've outlived their usefulness. But our intent was to fix the driveway, but at the end of the project. As for the retaining wall, I know you guys have identified it as a retaining wall. It's really more of a knee wall that was put in place in most of those houses out there to hide where the garbage cans are going. And that was the second thing that we weren't going to do right away, because we had some ideas about maybe making some changes to it. The other things that you're talking about are certainly things that are going to be part of the permit process that we're hopefully in review now, but hopefully going to get the permit shortly. In the interim, I'm trying to confirm now, but I believe the contractor has in fact submitted just a standalone demo permit to actually begin truly demo work. But as I said earlier, we've done is trash removal, appliance removal, and stuff like that. So what I had originally believed to be in place was not in place, and that was that my contractor was in fact working through the building department with code enforcement to let you guys know that we were in the process of addressing these issues through the process of pulling a building permit. And come to find out that he really hadn't done that, or if he did it, it was inadequate. So what I was asking for was a rescheduling of this hearing so that we could actively get working on some of these revenues. In fact, I asked the contractor to proceed with replacing the garage door, so that that would be one way of addressing your notes about the garage door, and also getting this demo permit to demo, and also getting the building permit to start the repairs on the remainder of the items that you've got, as well as for the renovation. So that's what I had was hoping to achieve in my calls on Friday, and Mr. Dewar's return call this morning was to see if I could get this hearing for someone to let us get working on fixing the things that you guys have identified.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Helmer. Does the city have any questions for Mr. Helmer?
No, I just want to make the city's position clear that we're not willing to reschedule this hearing.
Sure.
Madam Magistrate, if I may, this case started in March with a stop work order. There has been no communication from the property owner until this past Thursday. Monday, I believe, I spoke to the contractor, and he even stated, he said, well, it looks like it's out of my hands at this point. There's not a lot I can do at this point to move this forward. He's just kind of going through his steps. But this has been going on since March, and there's been no communication from the respondents at all.
Okay, can I ask, have you talked to anyone in your building department to find out where they are, if the plans have been submitted, or where they are in the process of being reviewed and commented on?
The permit's in review. It was in review at the time of my initial inspection in March, when the work was started. There's notes in there that there was an engineer that had to sign on, things of that nature, but no, I have not spoken to anyone from the building department particularly about this case.
Okay, so Mr. Helmer's testimony is that his engineered plans were submitted 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and that they are being reviewed by the building department. And as you sit here today, you don't know how long.
As of this morning, they were still in review, according to our system, but I haven't spoken to anybody. I'm going off of what's in our computer system.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Helmer, anything further from you?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, as I said, we thought first under that first notice of violation stop work order, we thought that the issue was the street numbers, and we got that addressed. And at the time, I asked the contractor to inform you guys, and I thought that had taken place. The street numbers are up. But I also mentioned that, we started the process of demo, but really all we did was trash removal and cleanup, etc. Excuse me. And that was after we had submitted plans and received the red lines, I believe. But before we found out that we were going to need structural engineering work as part of the permitting process, we thought that we were ready to go. And when we found out we weren't, we pulled off. communication, and you know, I'm responsible for that, and I take responsibility for that. I believe that you guys have been communicated with, if not directly, through the building department, and I just let it go. And obviously I shouldn't have, but I thought we were in pretty good shape. And I know that it took a lot longer to get the engineering work done so that we could resubmit the plans. And I never expected it to take, you know, 6 months, but it took longer. But we've been working diligently on getting this resolved. You know, we don't want this any more than you guys want this. You know, we want to get moved in. We want the house to be, you know, lived in and a nice addition to the neighborhood. But you know, events have just transpired to make it difficult. As I said, we had several contractors, you know, make commitments and then decommit. Our first architect, you know, told us we didn't need engineering plans, we were fine, and that's when we submitted in the early spring and got redlined, like I said, and responded to that, only to find out subsequently that, you know, that wasn't enough. So I haven't been communicative, and obviously we're not compliant, but now that we're aware of this fully, our intention is to, you know, get that permit and get compliant as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Helmer. Anything further from the city?
No.
Okay. So I am, based on the testimony that's been presented here today, I am going to find that the property is in violation of, well, let me ask this question, because I'm having a hard time from the pictures that I'm seeing. When I'm looking at the picture of the photograph into the interior of the home, I do see, quote, demolition, but I don't see any demolition that would be violative of not having a permit. There's no flooring, so they've removed maybe carpeting. I don't see any electrical work that was done. I don't see any walls that were removed. I don't see anything that would necessarily require a permit. But then again, I don't have a license underneath Chapter 486 or a contracting license or anything like that. So, and then when I'm looking in the dumpster, it's unclear from this photograph that there's anything more than a Corona bottle, some cardboard, sorry, I'm very close to that, and some other small things that maybe floorboards. I don't see anything in there that's cabinets or...
The cabinets would have required demo permit to remove.
And you can say that, you can testify to that today, saying that you definitely need a permit to remove kitchen cabinets.
Be considered part of demo. I know you need a permit to install them as well. They are fixed. It's the countertops that wouldn't require a permit. Cabinets would, though.
Okay. And you witnessed in that dumpster, or from your view of inside the house in the dumpster, that cabinets were for sure removed, or something else was removed?
There was cabinets outside in the driveway next to the appliances, and there was broken ones inside the dumpster.
Okay. Okay, well, then, based on that information, I am going to find that the property was in violation of the cited code sections. However, I am going to give the property owner 45 days. Based on the testimony, within that 45 days, the property owner needs to have the driveway repaired. It can just be a temporary repair for now, as long as there is a permit or something submitted, or some sort of evidence that you are going to repair or replace that driveway. So just so that it doesn't happen again in the future, repairing the knee wall, securing the permit for both the demolition and for any engineered plans that will be approved that will address the concerns that the city has, meaning the fascia board, the windowsills, the shutters, et cetera. So that permit needs to encompass all of those violations that are presently there and replacing the garage door. So I will reduce that to writing and I will get that to you. But again, that's going to give you 45 days to do all of that. If you need an extension, please get with the city on that. You can certainly request one, barring that there's been a good faith reason for that at the next hearing. But we will actually have a status check at the January hearing, and Ariane, I don't have that date. What is that date?
I believe it would be 8th.
January 8th, 2024. Okay. So we will have a status check on January 8th, 2024 to see if you were able to comply within that 45 days. And at that time, if the city wishes to impose the fine, I will revisit that and we will talk about imposition of fine and costs if that should not be remedied at that time. Okay. And I will get you guys an order to that effect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we should be able to accomplish everything that we need to accomplish, and they do put in writing. We should be able to have that taken care of within 45 days.
Certainly, Mr. Helmer. Well, hopefully, I don't...
Holidays and everything, but I don't think that should impact.
Right, well, that was my reasoning for giving you the 45 days instead of a shortened time frame, is I do understand there are holidays coming up. Contractors are people too, so they need to be able to spend time with their families. So, okay, well, hopefully we'll see you back in here in January and all this will be resolved. If not, we'll deal with it at that time. Thank you, Mr. Helmer.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, moving on to case number 3C, 2023091, City of St. Pete Beach versus Nemeshon, Inc. The city like to make its presentation.
Thank you, Special Magistrate. I'm Louis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. This is case number 2023-0291. Respondent is Nemeshon Incorporated. Violation address is 376 Avenue. Violation description: the property is in violation of section 98-123.1, permits required of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: the initial inspection was 4/19/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/14/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 9/21/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/19/2023. These are true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting on the property at 376 Avenue, October 19th, 2023. April 19th, 2023, 376 Avenue, a fence was erected without a proper permit. Just a couple different shots from the fence that was erected without a permit around the property at 376 Avenue. This was September 21st. Initially, when I had seen the violation, I got in contact with the property owner. They opened up a permit almost immediately. So the application was put in, not open, excuse me. The application was submitted almost immediately after our conversation. So I gave them ample time. They made small milestones, but as you can see, it's starting to get into a point of disrepair, and they still, to this date, have not fulfilled the permit to actually open it for the fence. And this is where it's starting to dilapidate on this side of the fencing, September 21st, 2023, at 376 Avenue. Just a different shot from the street. Corrective action. Permit application must be reinstated due to the application being expired as of 10/22/2023 and must have permit finalized. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 9/22/2023 until permit is finalized, plus reasonable administrative costs. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Okay, is anyone here on behalf of the property owner? Anyone here on behalf of Nemishon, Inc.? Mr. Cruz, had you had an opportunity to speak with anyone on behalf of the property owner?
I tried to reach back out to them, and I've called quite a few times trying to get a hold of them. Unfortunately, I didn't save the number, so that was my behalf when I had first talked with them. But I tried to reach out to, the registered agent. I tried to, dig into trying to get a hold of somebody that could give me the contact again, to no avail. But I did send the proper notices to the registered agent, and have not heard from them since.
Okay, and just some questions on the property. It looks like the photos that you provided from April of this year show a newly erected fence. Is that correct? The ones with I think they're begonias in the picture, the pink flowers?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a newly erected fence?
Yes.
The photograph that you have from September of this year, is that the newly erected fence but falling down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it obviously wasn't built very well, and the problem was during the permit process, they made a couple milestones, but it looks like they didn't put in their setbacks. Their setbacks might not be right. They may need to move the fence, but unfortunately, it's getting into third time's the charm. It's getting into a state of disrepair, and I tried to reach out. I did my best to try and get that number back again, and unfortunately, to no avail. But now, yes, that is the same exact fence that is now currently falling.
Okay, so they applied for a permit. They did not receive a permit. Their application expired after 180 days. So at this point, they would have to reapply for a brand-new permit. And it would be, I'm assuming, like an after-the-fact permit?
Yeah, it'd still be an after-the-fact permit because they let it run out. So unfortunately, they'll have to deal with all that again when they go to the fees part.
Okay.
But yes, thank you, Special Magistrate.
Okay, as there's no one here on behalf of the property owner, they've kind of already made their statement in that way. So I am going to find that there is, the property is in violation of the stated code sections. I am going to allow for 14 days from the date of my order for the property owner. Well, let me ask you this question, Mr. Cruz. How quickly do fence permits get reviewed in the city of St. Pete Beach?
It just depends. I can actually bring up our planning and zoning official. She could probably give you a better guesstimation on that. I myself, I'm not 100% sure. Some of them can be fast. If it's in the right spots, if they actually went by the actual survey of the property, it's pretty quick. If they didn't, and this might be setback problems, and that's why it's in disrepair, because it's too close to a tree line or too close to the neighboring property. Again, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know a timetable on exactly how and when they get confirmed.
Okay, well, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and say 14 days from the date of my order to apply for and secure a fence permit. And then we will reconvene in December for a status check to see if that has been accomplished. At that time, I will go ahead and consider the imposition of fines and any good faith reasoning why the property owner would not have been able to apply for and secure a fence permit within 14 days. So I will reduce that to writing and everyone will get a copy. Yes. That's right. Okay.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
All right, moving on to case 3D, case numbers 20230436, City of St. Pete Beach versus Highland Properties of West Florida LLC. Would the city like to present its case?
Yes, thank you, Special Magistrate. Louis Cruz representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. Case number 2023-0436, respondent Highland Properties of, assuming West Florida LC. Violation address 601 78th Avenue. Violation description. The property is in violation of section 23.3, applicability and scope, A, and section 98-123.1, permits required of the Land Development Code and Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary. An initial inspection, 7/20/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/7/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 9/21/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/19/2023. These are a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. Here's the affidavit of posting on the property at 601 78th Avenue, October 19th, 2023. Right here is just a picture of unpermitted reconstruction of the garage, the garage, 7/20/2023 at 601 78th Avenue. They have converted the garage into what looks like to be a living space. Just another picture here, putting in new doors, closets, different construction work of the structural integrity of the garage. New doors there, another door there, which will lead into a bathroom that was being put in that was unpermitted, along with plumbing. This is the structure that this work was being done in. This is the stop work order that was posted on the property. Corrective action. Permit must be acquired to restore garage into its original use. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 9/22/2023 until permit is finalized, plus administrative costs. And I would just like to read an email here from our planning and zoning official, and I'll put it into record. This is from Brandon Berry, our planning and zoning official. When I asked him for an update on the property, kind of see where they're at, they submitted a permit with no plans or without any meaningful description of work. For zoning, they need to submit floor plans showing a layout of the garage. They need to remove any plumbing, kitchen facilities, and sleeping areas that were installed without approval. He says he believes he spoke with the owner about a few weeks ago, unless there is a different case of that nature, but that was the property that he was referring to. Overhead, please, Ryan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And that concludes my presentation. Thank you, Special Magistrate.
I did have a question. You had cited them under two separate sections, one for the applicability and scope, what has to do with the required number of parking spaces.
That was-
Understanding it's the conversion of a two-car garage into a habitable living space, does the city, how many parking spaces are required for a single-family home of this nature?
And that's what we have. Oh, I thought our planning and zoning official was here. So that was one of the reasons why, because you're allowed to have two separate structures, to my understanding. You're allowed to have two separate structures, but you have to have the actual ability to park on the property depending on how many living spaces that you have on the property. But since they do not, since they're converting that garage into a livable space, the garage, or excuse me, the driveway can only fit like one or two cars maybe. And that was part of the violation as well, was turning that into more living space so that there's more people on the property that will need parking that you won't meet due to your only parking is the driveway that's allowable on the property.
Okay, but yet they have not yet converted that to habitable living space?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's actually sufficient for me unless, with the city, okay.
Kristen,
Please, Kristen.
the question, go ahead, Madam Special.
Have you been previously sworn in? I know you were here earlier, so I just want, okay.
No, I have not.
If you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Kristen Coleman.
Okay, and your affiliation with the city?
I'm senior planner for the city of St. Pete Beach.
Okay, thank you very much. The question that I asked of Mr. Cruz, I'll direct it to you. One of the citations was for not having sufficient parking for a one or two family dwelling. What is the requirement for parking in a one or two family dwelling?
For a single-family dwelling, that would be a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces. I'd have to double-check if it was like a duplex. I think with this, though, if it is, and I don't want to overstep, so.
No, please continue.
But this is not an attached structure, so I would have to look in for the 2-family.
Okay, so it's a detached garage that is presumably being converted, should it be able to be converted to a habitable living space? If it were to be converted to a habitable living space, which I'm not convinced it will be able to.
Okay.
Then it would be in violation of the parking requirement because there would be only 2 off-street parking, presumably in the driveway, 2 off-street parking spaces, but with 2 structures on the property, they would need 4.
I would have to verify that.
More than 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Those are all the questions I have.
Thank you, Kristen.
Is there anyone here? Oh, did you have anything, Mr. Cruz, to follow up? Okay.
I am all good. That concludes my presentation. Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Thank you. Is there anyone here on behalf of the property owner, Highland Properties of West Florida, LC? Going once, going twice? Okay. The respondent has failed to show or send an agent. I am going to find that the property is in violation. I will give the property owner 30 days to submit, they've already submitted a permit, but 30 days to submit plans and secure a permit to convert a garage in a floodplain zone to a habitable living space, or otherwise to secure a permit so that they can put the property back to the way that it was before. So either way, 30 days to secure the permit to do so. And then we will follow up. December's meeting is the 11th, so we'll just miss that. So we'll follow up at the January 8th, 2023 for status check. At that time, I will consider the imposition of fines and costs.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Okay, moving on to case 3E. Case number 202, oh, no, we were continuing that one?
No, not that
Oh,
one.
that was
but
3H.
can I just ask for clarification on the prior case real quick?
Of course, please.
So while you're giving them 30 days and we're having a status hearing to come into compliance, we're reserving the right, I guess we're reserving a ruling on fines even if they meet that 30-day requirement. That's the city's position. Like,
Well, if they meet the 30-day requirement, then there will be no imposition of fines. I just don't see how they're going to possibly
Okay.
be able to meet. 30 days is a reasonable time for somebody that has already submitted a permit in order to secure, or submitted a permit application in order to secure plans.
Got it.
Especially when the issue is that you have a first floor garage being converted to non-habitable or habitable living space in a floodplain zone.
Okay, I
So
just
what I anticipate will happen is they will say, no, you cannot have that permit. And that is why my order will say they can also, they need to, if a permit is necessary, they need one in order to put it back the way that it was
Okay,
before.
thank you.
And I'll make that clear in my order, even if it's not clear here today.
Okay. It was clear.
So I hope that it
appreciate
is.
Yeah, that was pretty clear. Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on to 3E, case number 20230499, City of St. Pete Beach versus William R. Carr. Would the
Thank-
city like to make its presentation?
Yes, thank you, Special Magistrate. Louis Cruz representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. This is case number 2023-0499. Respondent is William R. Carr. Violation address is Coquina Way, parcel number 36-31994-045-0110. Violation description. The property is in violation of Section 22.3, General Requirements, D, Section 22.4, Type, Quality, and Size of Plant Material, F, Section 4633, Enumeration, 1B, Section 9865, Unsightly Conditions, 4, and Section 9866, Residential and Commercial Property Maintenance, A, B21, AB, of the Land Development Code and Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary. Initial inspection was 8/18/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/18/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 10/3/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/19/2023. These are a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting at Coquina Way, lot, October 19th, 2023. This is the August 18th, 2023, that Coquina Way lot, unmaintained vacant lot. Just some different vantage points of the unmaintained vacant lot. It has come to a point that there is no erosion control at all on this property. August 18th, 2023, Coquina Way lot. Dead palm fronds in the trees. A couple different pictures of the unmaintained lot. Got some dead palm fronds and foliage that is accumulating in certain parts of the property, such as behind the trees that they have there at the end of the property. Looks like a lot of the dead palm fronds are either being thrown back there or these are the ones that aren't being picked up readily. Dead palm fronds and trees. This is October 9th, 2023. unmaintained lot. Different view from the foliage being stacked up back there, whether it's tree branches or leaves or whatever is being stacked behind there. The corrective action: property must be cleaned of all yard waste and trash. Dead palm fronds must be cleaned from the palm trees, and approved ground cover must be installed for erosion control. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 10/4/2023, plus administrative costs until compliant.
Okay. I do have a question. One of the code sections that you have cited under, aside from the dead palm fronds strewn throughout, is section 22.4, which is type, quality, and size of plant material with regard to ground cover. Is it the city's position that vacant lots are required to have landscaped ground cover?
Kristen.
And get our planning and zoning official to
Yes.
clarify it a little bit more, because it falls into their purview to really set this bar on what is expected within the city of St. Pete Beach.
Sure.
Yes, Special Magistrate Kristen Coleman, City of St. Pete Beach. Yes, vacant lots are required to be maintained.
Okay, so while they're required to be maintained, are they required to be landscaped?
As far as landscaping, like a ground cover?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the way that the pictures presented it showed that it looked like it was just a dirt surface, gravel surface, and that's unpermitted within the city of St. Pete Beach?
Correct.
Okay, and what would type of the required, I see that there's a list of required or applicable ground cover.
Suggested.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
suggested
Thank
ground
you.
covers. They could be many of the ground covers within our land development code, or usually the easiest one is sod
Okay,
is acceptable.
okay, thank
Okay,
you. That
welcome.
answers my question. Okay. Is there anyone here on behalf of the property owner, Mr. Carr? Is there anyone here on behalf of Mr. Carr? Mr. Cruz, had you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Carr at all?
I spoke with the property owners. Think I spoke with his wife. I didn't talk to the husband. He didn't call me. She's the one that reached out to me after she got the notice that was sent to their property. I'm pretty sure it's Valrico. I don't want to misspeak.
You can just
but
say yes, Mr. Cruz.
yeah.
You've had an opportunity to speak to them.
Yes.
Correct?
Okay, and did you get any indication from Ms. Carr that they were working to remedy this, or what was the nature of that conversation?
They said they needed about a month to get it done, and it gave them that month, and came and passed, and then still haven't heard
Nothing
from them.
happened. Okay. Okay. Just for the record, the respondent or anyone on behalf of the respondent has not appeared. I am going to find that the property is in violation of the stated code sections. I am going to allow for a week, 7 days, in order for the property owners to comply with the code. It is the property owner's responsibility to contact the city of St. Pete Beach once they are in compliance for an inspection, and noted to the property owner that there is a list of acceptable ground covers, although not limited to that. But they have 7 days from the date of my order in order to comply. If they do not comply, we will go ahead and revisit this in December for the imposition of fines and costs.
Thank you, Special Magistrate.
Thank you.
All right, December's gonna be a big one.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 3F, case number 2023-0536, City of St. Pete Beach versus Jeffrey Myers. Would the city like to make its presentation?
Yes, Special Magistrate Lewis Cruz, representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. This is case number 2023-0536. The respondent is Jeffrey Myers. Violation address is 191 73rd Avenue. Violation description: the property is in violation of section 6.13- residential accessory structures, E4, section 4633, enumeration 1213, section 9865, unsightly conditions, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Land Development Code and Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary. Initial inspection is 9/13/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/28/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 10/12/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/17/2023. These are a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting on the property at 191 73rd Avenue, October 17th, 2023. These are discarded furniture and debris that have accumulated on top of the property, September 13th, 2023. More discarded furniture and debris that are on the property, September 13th, 2023. Litter, miscellaneous debris, and storage of non-operative trailer. Another shot of litter, miscellaneous debris, and another non-operative trailer that is on the property. Here is obviously the trash debris such as that, but also storage of a non-operative RV and portable storage unit on the property that's in the driveway. Clotheslines that are visible from the street that run along the top balcony of the property, September 13th, 2023. This is October 16th, 2023. Not much has changed. Non-operative trailer and debris still accumulate on the property. And the corrective action. Property must be cleaned of all litter, debris, and discarded furniture. Vehicles must be operative and registered. Clotheslines along with the portable storage unit must be removed. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 10/13 till 2023 until compliant, plus administrative costs.
Madam Special Magistrate Pete Doerr, on behalf of the city, I would like to bring to your attention, Officer Cruz, can you pull up the previous case? I'd like to bring to the magistrate's attention that there was a previous case on this property with fines that are continuing to accrue. And I don't know if you're able to pull it up. Ask Ryan to see if you can get to the O drive.
Okay, so can I ask for clarifications? There is a previous code case. Is it for
Ryan,
the
could you
three
go to the O
same
drive?
sections of code?
They're not the same sections of code, no, ma'am.
Okay.
So essentially the relevance here, because we're not finding them a repeat, but they have an exorbitant amount of fines accruing. They've done nothing to do the property. We
Go to
wanted to
the
show
O
you the
drive.
previous case
O drive.
because the city's going to ask for the ability to potentially abate the property itself. And we just wanted you to see what the previous situation was when it came to pictures. Now, if that's not relevant in our request today, we just wanted the magistrate to understand this is not the first time. This has been an ongoing issue for 5 years plus.
Sure. I mean, you can certainly, you have the ability to enter any evidence that you see fit. I mean, I think it's tangentially relevant. I don't think it's necessary to my determination here
Okay.
today.
Okay. It's not necessary. Come on.
That is something that if the city is going to ask for the ability to abate in the future,
Thank you,
I
Ryan.
would say that's probably appropriate at that time,
Okay.
to bring up that evidence. But as far as right now, I think there's pretty sufficient evidence
Thank you.
for the present violations. Would the city like to add anything else to its presentation?
Could you go?
No, Madam Magistrate.
Is there anyone here on behalf of the property owner? Mr. Myers? Okay.
Oh, wow. Is he blind? Yeah. Huh? Jeez. You didn't tell me that. Jesus. Yeah.
Slightly right here, right in front of you. Stop. There we go. Right there. Right here, up top. Table. And the mic's right in front of your face, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Myers, would you like to go ahead and make your presentation or say your piece?
Well, I'm not sure what I can say. I'm blind, and we have been trying to get the property cleaned up all the things that were, oops, sorry, what? The things that are outside, my understanding is all the things that were stored inside the garage when it flooded from the hurricane. And then
Stand next to him.
I have hired people twice now that failed to do the work. I'm trying my very best. I guess it's just a little bit challenging with I lost my eyesight. I do hang my clothes up. I don't.
What's the order? They didn't get the order.
So,
I don't know what to say. I guess I'm asking for. It's my understanding that the front part of the property is all the furniture and stuff that was just. We received about 2 feet of water from the hurricane in the first level of the house, and everything's been soaked. And in addition to that, my appendix ruptured, and so I was in the hospital for a few weeks. And now I'm restricted. I'm not allowed to pick anything up. It's over 5 pounds, so I have to hire it out. And it's not been easy finding people that do anything more than steal from me. My family's hopefully going to be offering me some support, but they're not in the area. They're in New York.
okay, and that was going to be my next question. Mr. Myers,
I relocated here due to cancer, and I'm in remission now, but I lost my eyesight and things like that as a result.
I can understand that. And you had mentioned the we that you're referring to. Does anyone live at the property with you?
I do have a partner at the property, but he is equally disabled. He has a brain injury.
Okay. And you said you have twice tried to hire somebody to come assist you with cleaning the
This
property.
last time, yes, and then I have a friend that has stepped in as of Saturday to help. And he's got quite a bit done. He's going to be helping. He's going to be doing work until, I think, Tuesday.
Okay.
Today's Monday, correct? Yeah.
And understanding that the property has kind of been in this condition for quite some time, and understanding you have been attempting to work on it.
It's been cleaned up before.
And then the hurricane happened, and it's...
And now we pulled everything out of the first floor to start to try to dry it. And that was what I was being, what we were trying to do. And then it's just very hard to do things when you can't see.
I can understand that. And so by your estimation, how long would it take you with trying to hire someone now that you have a friend who's assisting with you and hoping that your family gives you support?
Right.
How much time would you think that you would need in order to bring the property into compliance?
I like to say...
Cleaning up the things that are hanging.
Getting rid of everything. He also mentioned something about the trailers. I can't have the trailers on the property because that's where the things are going from.
If they are otherwise inoperable or unregistered, I don't believe.
They're to be pulled. They still work.
Are they registered with the state of Florida? Should they need to be?
I don't think they had. I didn't think they had to be.
They don't have to be. Okay. What about the recreational vehicle?
That one is, yes.
That one is registered with the state.
It should be registered.
And that is an operable vehicle?
Oh boy, I see everything got confusing because when I lost my eyesight, I couldn't renew my license. When I couldn't renew my license, I wasn't able to hold registrations, and I had to sell my cars. The RV was registered. I'm pretty sure I paid for the registration when it was, because I have somebody that pays my bills. They pay all those things when they come up due, but I can't say for...
You can't say for a fact.
For a fact that it was, because there was all those troubles with the county clerk said I couldn't have a registration in the...
Without
the vehicle department said I could until, well, actually until, I dropped something.
Well, so without having...
I'd have to look into that because I got rid of the other vehicles in the RV. I didn't get rid of it.
Okay, what about the pod that's been on the property, the big storage?
The pod should be, they finished putting the furniture that was salvageable from the flooding in the pod, and it's going to be, they're scheduled to pick up today.
Okay.
They worked on it this weekend.
Okay, and then, so the issue is the remainder of the furniture that wasn't salvageable needs to be removed from the property?
So there's, I think, only in the one area. There was the two front driveways, and then there's one, that's my backyard, technically. Is it, but I'm visible on all three,
On
all
sites,
four
right.
sides are visible. There's nowhere on the property it's not visible.
And what about the clothing? You said that you dry your clothing out on the deck?
Yeah, it's part of my not wanting to have such a big carbon footprint. I use the air and the wind and the sun to dry my clothes.
Okay.
It's really, we should all be doing right now. I don't think there's anywhere on the property I could put it where it's not going to be visible.
Having a clothesline somewhere, or maybe inside. Okay, well, I will say this, that's going to be something that you're going to have to talk to the city about, whether or not that still remains a violation, or if there's some sort of
Right.
remedy that you can have for that. Would you find that 30 days would be sufficient for you?
More than sufficient.
Okay, so then I am going to find that the property is in violation, but I am going to allow for 30 days for you to hire someone or get the assistance that you need to bring the property in compliance. And then during that time period, once it's in compliance, contact the city or have someone contact them on your behalf and let them know to come out and look to see if you are compliant. And then we will reconvene here again in January, since the 30 days will get us past the December hearing date. We'll reconvene in January and see where we are. If you are not in the position at that time where it's been remedied, we'll talk about why that is. And if you have a good faith reason for it, we'll work with you. If not, then at that time, I'll entertain the imposition of fines or the ability to abate.
Okay.
Okay? And I will get you an order to that effect.
Okay. And is Mr. Cruz here?
He is right next to you, to your right.
You mentioned a list of people that potentially would be good to hire. 'Cause I've not had any, everyone I've hired.
Can't,
What they said they were going to do.
so we'll try to give you a call later this week, okay?
Thank you. Sometimes too, to come to the house, I can't see the phone to answer it, so if I'm home alone, I can't answer, but I'm usually always there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Myers.
I think that's my wallet. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to agenda item 3G, case number 20230202, St. Pete Beach versus 59th Avenue Properties LLC. Was this Mr. Cruz's case?
We're waiting for Officer Cruz. Yes, ma'am.
Stephen, can you switch with him?
Actually, would it be possible, can we take just a 5-minute recess?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually a great idea.
If we'll go ahead and just take a 5-minute recess,
Can someone?
and we will be back at
Hey, ask-
11:32. To go back on the record. Perfect.
Yes,
And we are re-adjourned? No, unadjourned. All right. Moving on to case 3G, case number 202300202, City of St. Pete Beach versus 59th Avenue Properties LLC. Would the city like to make its presentation?
Yes, thank you, Special Magistrate. Louis Cruz representing the City of St. Pete Beach Code Enforcement. Case number 2023-0202. Respondent is 59th Avenue Properties LLC. Violation address 5955 Gulf Winds Drive. Violation description: the property is in violation of Section 26.4 Prohibited Signs H, Section 26.5 Non-Conforming Signs, and Section 26.14 Maintenance of Signs A, 1, A, B, C, and 2 of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: initial inspection was 3/20/2023. Notice of violation dated 9/28/2023. Notice of violation compliance date 10/12/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 10/17/2023. These are a true and accurate representation of what I have witnessed. This is the affidavit of posting at the property of 5955 Gulf Winds Drive, October 17th, 2023. And this is the monument sign that's in question that is also in disrepair. This was March 20, 2023. Monument sign disrepair, just a different shot of it. October 26, 2023. Monument sign still in disrepair. Looks like it's rusting, it's starting to corrode. Has wires hanging out of it, probably from the existing electrical wiring that was in there for the faces. Corrective action: property must remove monument sign. Property is not compliant. Recommended fine is $250 per day from 10/13/2023 until monument sign is removed, plus administrative costs. I would like to add that they have put in for a permit for the monument sign to be removed. It just opened up not too long ago. When I checked it this morning, it looks like it was opened, and the demolition is going to start. I would like to make note here the development order about this non-conforming sign that they went to get a variance for. If you could put the overhead on for me, Ryan, please. And they were supposed to meet certain conditions. This was development order case number 21065. And if you look towards condition number 3, a new business shall occupy the existing building with the issuance of a B business tax receipt within 12 months of the development order, or the non-conforming sign shall be deemed abandoned and shall be removed. And obviously this was before my time, but during my research of after my initial inspection and going through the process, this was brought into light. And I just would like to add one more thing as well. And this is from the development order. Just stuff that was sent to the property owner just to understand the conditions that were needed to be met during this variance process.
Okay, I do have a question. So the development order citation that you made to number 3 was: a new business shall occupy the existing building with the issuance of a BTR within 12 months of the development order. Are you saying that they're not compliant with the development order?
Yes.
So a new business did not occupy because it's still, this with development order was issued to 59th Avenue Properties LLC, and at that time was that, well, you said it was before your time, but there's no new business has been or was occupying that space within 12 months?
No.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
And if you want to swear me in, I was at the hearing, I can give you factual statements from the actual hearing, but the premise of the variance request was, we're going to get a new tenant in here, and that never occurred. So now that the sign's been deemed abandoned, which is why the code provisions that were cited are relevant here to require that it be demolished and come into conformity with our sign ordinance.
Right, and I think that's probably true regardless of the, and while I appreciate that, Mr. McDonald, I think that you cannot testify. So
Fair enough.
your factual
I didn't swear in.
representations are while appreciative, are not considered evidence at this hearing. So, okay, and is there anyone here on behalf of the property owner? Okay, if you could please come up and state your name and affiliation with the property owner for the record.
Madam Magistrate, Jack Buns, I'm the property owner.
And what is your affiliation with 59th Avenue Properties LLC?
I am the owner of the property.
Okay. So the managing member of the LLC.
Yes. Mhm.
And would you like to go ahead and make a representation based on what the city has presented?
Well, everything that was just said is correct. There was a variance that was made on the property. Unfortunately, the year did go by, and there is a tenant in there that is under lease. Unfortunately, he has not been able to get open because of issues that he has had inside the property trying to get a occupancy. We have, or I have, unfortunately, I have not kept up with this, and I've left it up to the tenant to try to get things done and so forth. Not realizing again, because the year does pass, time goes by fast, unfortunately, and did not comply to the variance request. I will say that upon my second notice that I got from Officer Cruz, I did get in touch with the city. I kind of stepped into this to try to see if I could rectify the issue. And we have met with the city twice now. Last time meeting with a gentleman by the name of Norm, who's an inspector, and Mark Vasquez, who I think is I guess he's the #1 guy. And so we did meet out there with the contractor of the tenant, myself, and the two of them, went over things that needed to be done, corrected, looked at, so forth and so forth. Unfortunately, over the year or so, some of the inspectors that had been with the city are no longer with the city. And some of the things that were addressed at that time were not visible to the inspectors when they were on site. So they were supposed to go back and look into their notes. I haven't heard from anybody, so I don't know whether they have or not, see if certain things were inspected and passed. He has since, over the year, has probably gone through probably 3 contractors. He has hired a new one at this time, trying to get things done. He wants to get open. He's put a lot of money into the building, both outside and inside. Part of the condition for the signage was for some beautification in front of it, which he did. I will say also, too, that at the beginning, the sign contractor went to the city to try to get a permit to put a sign up. City refused that permit because they said that it was tied to the property. So therefore, we could not put a sign up. If they would have allowed that, a sign would have been up over a year ago. And that has not been done, of course. So after talking with Officer Cruz, he made it pretty well known that they would probably not agree to another variance. So at that point, I have contacted our sign contractor. Permit has been pulled, dated the 9th of this month, and the sign will be taken down as of Wednesday, is what I'm told by my contractor.
Okay. Okay. Does anything else that you would like to add?
No, not this time.
Any questions from the city?
I just have one point of clarification, Madam Magistrate.
Sure.
You said sign will be removed as of Wednesday of this week?
That's what I was told by my contractor, yes.
Thank you.
He's got to have 2 trucks out there because there is a telephone pole near that, which has some electrical wires and things like that, so
Okay.
he wants to be sure that nothing
And Mr. Buns is correct. The permit was issued on November 9th. for
Yeah, I've got a
demolition of
copy
the
of
sign.
it if you want on my phone.
No, we have it.
We believe it.
Thank you, sir. No further questions, Madam Magistrate.
Okay. Okay. And if you have nothing further, then I will find that the property was in violation. As you have indicated, Mr. Buns, that it's going to be removed by Wednesday.
That's what I was told by my contractor.
I
yes, ma'am.
understand sometimes there's lags, so I am going to give you 10 days from the date of the issuance of my order to have that sign removed. It is your responsibility to contact the city and make sure they come back out and inspect it and everything's in compliance at that time. And then if that does not happen, we will reconvene in December, and I will reserve the imposition of fines and costs at that time.
Very good.
And I will get you an order to that effect.
Okay, thank you, Madam Magistrate.
Thank you. All right, we have continued case 3H. So moving on to, I'm assuming we would like to consolidate 4A and B as we have in the, as it has been done in the past with, through Mr. Thanis?
Correct. If there's no objection of Respondent's Counsel, yes, we'd like to. Okay.
Okay, so I know, so to announce the cases, case numbers 2022074 and 202207772, City of St. Pete Beach versus Plaza Beach Motel LLC. Last I recall, there was supposed to be a hearing in front of the commission with regards to a special use permit. Would the city like to give me an update on where we stand with all of
If
that?
you go to the overhead.
Yes.
Please, Ryan.
Just to be quick before, because since it's been continued, we're going to start from scratch with our evidence, but the applicant withdrew the application at
Ryan, go to the overhead.
the hearing,
Okay,
so it was not heard. And they can either reapply in the future, or our code controls how they can proceed.
And the application, or the withdrawal
I think in front of you, you have the meeting minutes from the meeting.
minutes is highlighted.
okay. Okay, so moving forward, like the city like to make its presentation.
Yes, Madam Special Magistrate, Pete Dewar, on behalf of the Code Enforcement Division for the City of St. Pete Beach. Go back to the PowerPoint, please, Ryan. Respondents Plaza Beach Motel LLC, violation address 46th Avenue. The property is in violation of sections 1.3, 3.5, 4.8, 23.4, 23.11, 38.4H of the Land Development Code, and 98-1231 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Case summary: initial inspection, 12/22 of 2022. Amended notice of violation dated 7/11/2023. Amended notice of violation compliance date was 7/18/2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property 7/25/2023. This is the Land Development Code definition for a parking off-street or off-premise parking lot. It's an off-street parking lot that is not on the same property as the principal use. It is designed and intended to serve. And what you, Madam Special Magistrate, will see is that the parking lot that these pictures truly and accurately depict are across the street from the Plaza Beach Motel, which is across from Gulf Boulevard. And so this overhead is from the property appraiser's website that shows the parcel in question. And so it's that highlighted portion in green. And this is an overhead view south of 46th Avenue. This picture shows back in 2019 what the green space looked like. And this is a curb that's utilized to access the commercial lot that was created. This is one of the vehicles that was being stored on the property. Different angle. Additional vehicles. And this fence is also part of the section in violation 98-1231, was erected without a permit. Corrective action is approvals and permits should have been sought and obtained prior to the erection of the fence, utilization of the parking lot, and establishment of the use. Vehicles are not to be parked on the lot unless a necessary conditional use permit is acquired, and the fence is to be removed until permitted. The property is not compliant as we speak, and the city is recommending, or the recommended action is apply for a fence permit by August 21st. Obviously, that has now gone beyond us. And so we're going to request that a fence permit, and I think one was, in fact, applied for, yes? And do we have a status update?
So and while she comes up, Madam Magistrate, because this is kind of a interesting case with the continuances and how we've gotten to this point. Mm-hmm. While I can appreciate Mr. Dewar including the evidence of the prior meeting, I do want to make clear that on Mr. Thanis's prior order, that legally required notice was already deemed to be in accordance with applicable law to get us to this point, and obviously the corresponding orders that have been issued by you and Mr. Thanis have also counted as notice towards how we are here today. But yes, Ms. Coleman, do you mind explaining, because I understand there was a permit issued prior to or shortly after the August hearing, is that correct?
There was no permit issued for fencing.
But was there a permit applied for?
The application for a permit was received, and I got assigned a plan review on August 16th. It was denied, or actually, the permit, and my apologies, the permit date came in August 15th of 2023. My review date was I was assigned the review August 16th. I completed the review on August 24th, 2023. It was denied for several reasons. That notification of what needed to be addressed was given to the applicant, which is the contractor. I had not heard anything back from them until late September. We just corresponded through email of what was required. I then got a new review that came in on November 8th, so last week. So while I was sitting here, I did have the opportunity to review it. I have not posted it yet. It will be denied once again for comments from my prior review were not addressed.
So if I could ask one question, Madam Magistrate. When you say new review, Ms. Coleman,
yes,
does that essentially mean that a new permit was applied for in November?
Not a new permit per se, a new review. It's still under the same permit number, but it was denied by zoning because it was deficient in a few items. Those items were given to the contractor. They did not resubmit until just last week from my original review in August.
So then I have a clarification question. If a permit was applied for and otherwise denied, wouldn't you have to apply for a new permit? You cannot reopen a denied permit subject to comments. Wouldn't that just be comments were given and the opportunity to respond to those comments?
How we have it in our system, it would be under the same permit, but they would have to do a resubmittal through that. I'm not sure how that works in our software.
So did you send a formal denial of the fence permit to the applicant?
The applicant as the contractor, I did. Okay. They were notified of that. The one I just did while I was sitting here, I have not posted it yet, but it will once again be denied, as my prior comments have not been addressed.
Oh, okay. Were those same comments given in response to this? So I guess the difference I'm hearing is
Sure.
You're calling it a resubmittal.
Mm-hmm.
From a legal point of view, denial means something. So that's why I'm asking those questions, is that if you are saying that there was a formal denial of the initial permit, then legally I don't think that they have the ability to reopen a already denied permit. There is a formal denial of it. What you're saying is there is a formal denial, but the city allows for a resubmittal to address the reasons why the permit was denied?
It is under one permit number. So under one permit number, there could be several departments that have to be reviewed. Planning and zoning generally comes first, building, sometimes fire, could be a myriad of different departments. So how it is given to us, each department is giving their review depending on how it's broken down in our workflow. I get it first because our zoning to make sure it meets compliance with the land development code. Based on my first review, I could not approve it. So that then, under my hierarchy, I have to deny it. So I write out the formal review on that, and again, this is just something that we could look at, but I think it would get quite overwhelming to do a different permit number for each resubmittal. So it just follows underneath that same original permit number.
So then, did you produce, and you said you're denying it, did you just produce comments back to them saying how the deficiencies were that they could cure those deficiencies? Or did you outright just say, no, you can't have this permit, it's denied?
I said, please be advised that zoning was unable to approve the installation of the fencing as per plan submitted due to the following reasons. Proposed fencing will need to be shown on the survey with proposed height, length, and sections, setbacks from the property lines, including front property lines, where a maximum height within the front yard areas, 20 feet from the property lines, may not exceed 4 feet. Gate locations, if any, and prior to any further review, the items above will need to be addressed and revisions uploaded for further review.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
And I can also, if you'd like, show you the plan that was submitted. So there was an official survey. It was just a Google image with no information whatsoever with regards to height, setbacks, anything like that.
Understood. Thank you.
You need them.
Anything further from the city?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Special Magistrate, I think what you just gleaned and heard is part of the reason why we're requesting that the fence be removed. First, it wasn't permitted, so it should have never been erected. And secondly, it does not seem to be able to meet the requirements based on what Ms. Coleman just established. And so this concludes the presentation for this case. If you'd like to hear the next case, please let me know.
Yes, if Mr. Thanis had consolidated the two
Correct.
cases, and so that order still stands.
Thank you. Respondents Plaza Beach Motel LLC, violation address Gulf Boulevard. The property is in violation of sections 1.3, 3.5, 4.8, 23.4, 23.11, 38.4H of the Land Development Code and 98-123.1 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of St. Pete Beach. Initial inspection, 12/22/2022. Amended notice of violation dated 7/11/23. Amended notice of violation compliance date is July 18, 2023. Notices of hearing dated and posted on the property July 25, 2023. Land Development Code definition, parking lot off-premise on-street, or parking lot is an off-street parking lot that is not on the same property as the principal use it is designed and intended to serve. And the pictures are a true and accurate representation of what I observed on the dates they were taken, the affidavit of posting. And the reason for including these overhead pictures or images is so that when you're in the field, this lot is one contiguous lot, so it just shows the distinction. And this is the green space back in 2019. And this is the Gulf Boulevard lot in question, fronting Gulf Boulevard as opposed to 46th Ave, which was fronting 46th Ave. This is the fence erected, and as was established, this fence might not be meeting certain requirements and should be removed. Back in July, these vehicles were utilizing the commercial lot, the off-street parking, off-premise parking, additional vehicles, a trailer, more vehicles, RV, additional vehicles showing up at the time of the inspection. A nighttime inspection at 11:03. So what Ryan, could you please go to the overhead? Since the respondent has withdrawn the application, Madam Special Magistrate, the city is requesting that no vehicles be parked on that lot since a use has not been established. These pictures are true and accurate representation. This one was taken November 3rd. This is that one. As well as this one. So the lot, again, not established, but is being utilized as a commercial off-premise parking area. These pictures were taken by a resident, and I think she's here to establish that they are true and accurate. Back to the PowerPoint, please. And so what we're asking, Madam Special Magistrate, again, is for corrective action to be approvals and permits should have been sought and obtained prior to the erection of the fence, utilization of the parking lot, and establishment of the use. Vehicles are not to be parked on the lot unless the necessary conditional use permit is acquired and the fence is to be removed until permitted. Property is not compliant, and the respondent needs to apply for a fence permit. And the city is also asking that no vehicles be parked on the lot effective immediately. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
And before the city concludes, I just, for the record, if Ms. Coleman can come up for a minute, I just want to ask her a zoning-related question related to the conditional use requirement.
Hi again, Kristen Coleman, City of St. Pete Beach.
Is this property located in the Activity Center District in the city's Land Development Code?
That is correct, AC.
Is one of the allowable conditions an off-premise parking lot and/or structure?
That is correct, it is permitted.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So just to sum it up, because once the respondent speaks, I understand that Mr. Thanis issued an order. It was pretty clear that no recreational vehicles were allowed to be parked there, which you can see after the date were, but then also allowed the parking of registered motel guests, motel employees, and contractors doing work at the motel while the pending conditional use permit was applied for. Now that the permit's been withdrawn, the city's position is until it is properly approved through the CUP process as laid out in 38.4, and it's testified to Ms. Coleman, no cars at all, no recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, cars, no parking of vehicles at all shall take place on the property. And then to sum up the fence issue, based on the fact that it's been applied for, comments haven't been addressed, the city's requesting that the fence be removed until the permit is not only applied for but issued for the fence to be erected.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, as a resident,
Okay, if the city's going to call you as a witness, you're welcome to come up and present your evidence, but until such time as you are called as a witness, it's not a public hearing in that manner, so there's no public comment per se. So is the city going to be calling?
Fairness, yeah, did things a little different.
I can appreciate that. However, this is
your meeting.
Well, it's also a code enforcement special magistrate hearing.
Agreed.
There is no
Agreed.
purview for public comment.
So, yes, the city would like to call Ms. Auerbach.
Okay. If you could please come up, state your name and address for the record, and then were you here when I swore in?
yes.
Okay, perfect.
My name is Amy Auerbach. I reside at 240 46th Avenue, within 500 feet of this property. So I just want to share some items
Thank you.
with you.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, this isn't going to be an
So I can't present.
Yeah, it's a,
Okay.
yes, it is, yeah.
Thank you.
So
So
it is going to be, yeah, so you control the scope, obviously, with your questioning.
correct.
And you have obviously the opportunity to object to any line of questioning that you so choose.
So I just want to ask a few questions. The pictures that Mr. Dewar supplied in the evidence, were those taken by you?
Yes.
Do you remember the date and time that those pictures were taken?
The picture of the RV was taken October 4th.
Mr. Dewar, do you mind pulling up the PowerPoint with the pictures or the overhead, please? I'm going to go ahead and show them to you.
Okay, thanks. Yep. This is a picture I took.
Do you know the date and time?
October 4th, I think like 7:15 a.m. I have proof in my slides. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, Monday,
Okay.
Monday, October 23rd,
And then
7
Pete, is there another picture that she sent in?
Okay, let's see, I have this of a trailer, September 3rd.
Please put it in the overhead if you don't mind. Turn it sideways. There it is.
Oh, and then
And
the other one.
the date and time of this picture?
Okay, the date and time of that picture, 7:15 a.m.
Okay.
9/3.
There's the
And this one you already attested to as October 4th?
October 23rd is the indication on the timestamp. You testified it was October 4th, but your video,
Oh, sorry,
Your-
October 23rd is when
Okay.
that picture
Okay.
was taken. I've got one from September 4th in front of me. And then here's the one from September 4th. Monday 4. That's
And it's your testimony that you're attesting to this picture taken what day?
September 4th, Monday,
Okay.
4:24 p.m.
And I'm just going to ask one or two more questions, because anything I ask you, the respondent's attorney will be able to cross you
Yep.
on, okay? So with you you testified that you are within 500 feet of the property.
Yep.
The pictures that you've shown today, and I know they're sporadic through, September 4th all the way to October 23rd, is it your testimony that this is something that's reoccurring daily, weekly, every weekend? Can you put a time frame on it?
Yeah, I would say at least 10 times a month.
And what I'm talking about is the parking of either recreational vehicles, boats, trailers, or cars. Is that accurate?
Boats and boat trailers, the one RV, and then cars at random times.
Okay.
10 a month, maybe it's like 5 to 10 a month,
Okay.
just for sake of clarity.
I have no further questions.
any questions from the respondent for this witness? Okay, thank you very much. Anything further from the city?
Excuse me, no, Madam Magistrate.
Okay, would the respondent like to make their presentation?
Good afternoon now, Magistrate and Mr. McConnell. Katie Cole with the law firm of Hill Ward Henderson representing the respondent. I first, just as a matter of business, we did not bring our evidence to reintroduce into the record since it was incorporated in the first hearing. I just wanted to be sure that you had access to that and had reviewed the evidence.
I can certainly get that from the clerk.
Okay, thank you. Just a few points of clarification. First of all, well, not clarification, but to provide some context. So when Mr. Cezanne was first cited with purchased this property, it had previously been utilized as a parking lot, not only for the restaurant that is continuously operated, but by, and I say off-premise parking lot. This is something that we discussed the definition. This has been owned by Duke Energy for many years and was used as a staging area for construction. The city leased a portion of the property and used its portion during construction for some construction. Then after that construction ended, also turned it into the park, which is the quote-unquote green space that you saw. Otherwise, it had been used throughout, and there was evidence in the record of that. Also, many of the photos that were shown today, we provided alternative timeline photos that were in the record at the first hearing. On August 14th was that first hearing. On August 15th, the permit for the fence was immediately applied for, persistent to Magistrate Thanos's order to apply prior to August 21st. Unfortunately, the city gave notice to the contractor, but not the owner with respect to the comments associated with that fence permit. And it wasn't until this morning when I asked our client to go next door and get a copy of the permit that he even learned it was never issued. So unfortunately, that was the case. Moving chronologically, I don't know if you would like me to address the fence holistically or the parking, or just move chronologically through the facts.
However you feel is most organized for your presentation of evidence.
Since we have two cases, then the city addressed the fence first. I will address the fence. Well, actually, no, I'm going to address it chronologically because they play into one another. So on October 10th, there was a status hearing. The city and the applicant had continued the conditional use permit to October 24th or October 24th because of the city commission's schedules and those requests. On October 24th, the applicant was prepared to proceed with the conditional use. This was all pending The applicant's been working for, or respondent has been working for over 18 months with the city on a conditional use for this site ever since his acquisition. He'd been working with planning staff and worked through each of the issues identified. Unfortunately, on Thursday afternoon, before the public hearing scheduled for Tuesday night, the staff report was issued recommending denial of the conditional use, and not only recommending denial, but said in the event that the commission wanted to approve the conditional use, there were a series of conditions associated with it. The conditions, which is normal for the staff to present, included several that required an engineering review, including a requirement to obtain a DOT permit to install a brand new crosswalk at the intersection between the respondent's hotel and the off-premise parking lot. Because of the significance of that condition particularly, in addition to others, on Monday I requested a continuance from staff. Staff properly advised that the commission was the only party who could grant that continuance, and Tuesday morning I sent formal correspondence to the mayor and the commission requesting that continuance. At the hearing on Tuesday evening, the mayor and commission expressed vehement desire to not continue that hearing and basically said no, that they refused to grant that continuance, at which point the applicant chose to withdraw the application because he knew that there was no way to resolve or even respond to any of those questions without a prepared engineer at the time. So after the withdrawal, the applicant called Smith Fence again, the fence contractor, and asked them to prepare and apply for a new fence permit because, again, based on the prior application, the property owner thought that there was already a permit issued mistakenly. The November 8th permit that was applied for was actually for a different area of fence, and the intention for that is to close off the entirety of the site to prohibit all parking. At that point, based on my recommendation, the respondent also advised his staff at the hotel to no longer provide parking. I see that there have been a couple instances where the staff has allowed parking to occur or employees have parked. As soon as the respondent learned about that, he asked them to leave. It's interesting, even the photos provided show one or two cars, certainly not evidence of the respondent intentionally working to avoid this since the hearing on October 24th. His intention is to close off this, not allow parking, and then seek to do what he would like to next. At that point, this is where we are. The applicant or respondent has no intention of using this as parking now unless and until he has to have, the code requires him to wait 1 year before he could submit any other conditional use permit application for parking. And so that is the purpose of his November 8th fence permit, was to close this off to prevent parking. As you can imagine, because it's been used by both the restaurant and others in the community for parking so significantly over the past, historically, it's very difficult for him to regulate what cars are there and who is there. There was an instance that Mr. McConnell, I don't think you introduced it, but you said you were going to.
It was part of the record prior.
Where the last hearing.
Okay, that Mr. Cezanne did host an event at his hotel. The city objected to having that parking there. He feels strongly, and I would agree, that those were his guests. He invited those folks to park there, and that was why the parking lot. Candidly, over the past several months, that's the only time that level of parking was ever even utilized. Otherwise, as evidenced by the photos that the city presented, perhaps there were 1 to 10 cars parked throughout the time there. So with that, we would respectfully request that this case be closed for administrative fees. The applicant and the respondent is desiring to obtain this fence permit to close off the site and not allow any other. I'm not sure why the city's position is that a fence permit is prohibited from being issued. That is new news to us. The comments associated with the permit review were simply that it needed to be shown with specific locations and meet setbacks. So this is the comment that was presented. And I can hand this to you if you.
He'll go to the overhead.
Okay, I think that was the same one that the city introduced during
It
its
is.
case.
So it's my understanding that this morning, the permit application from the 8th was reviewed and perhaps new comments were provided. To also answer your question, this is how it reads in the system.
Denied first.
Review.
Okay.
I would presume along your thought process that it was not denial, that property owner did not receive any notice of denial. Unfortunately, based on the system, only the contractor received comments. He intends to fully pursue a modified fence permit based on the drawings that were provided on November 8th, so they could close off the entirety of the parking lot.
Any questions?
Can I
from
just
the
ask
respondent?
just a clarity question, because you mentioned that a new permit was applied for November 8th. So does the November 8th permit encumber what was applied for on August 14th, or is it a completely different reconfiguration? I just want to understand that.
Thank you. Robert Cezanne, property owner. We are basically now enclosing the entire property. The prior fence was just a small part of the property. Now I'm enclosing the entire property line to property line, all the way around to prevent anybody from parking. I'm fed up with people parking there that I'm not aware of as well. So now what we're applying for is a property permit to completely close out the entire property.
Okay.
So
Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, no further questions. I'd just like to conclude, if I may.
Anything further from the respondent?
No, thank you.
Okay. Yep, the city would like to have any last argument.
It's not really an argument. I just want to sum up, because I think the property owners responded, admitted to the violation, and is willing to be a good neighbor moving forward. So the city would like the fence permit, if you're going to give at the most 14 days before Thanksgiving, if you're going to allow time for them to close out the permit. And then if they violate this again, there'll be a repeat. But I think it's clear that the pictures show that there have been parking there. They're willing to not allow any cars parked there moving forward until a CUP is applied for. And the city's position is just that. No car should be parked. Permit should be CO'd and finalized within 14 days. And there'll be a repeat in the future if we see any cars there.
Special Magistrate Dewar again on behalf of the city. If you look at the overhead, that fence is about, if I'm not mistaken, and Mr. Cezanne can add the correction, that fence is 8 feet. From what I saw based on Ms. Coleman's review, it has to be 4 feet. So that fence needs to come down. That fence cannot continue to stay there. Again, based on Ms. Coleman's review.
Respectfully, once we have received comments specific to the new permit that was submitted on November 8th, the applicant will respond to those comments, hopefully have the permit issued within a timely manner, and construct the permitted fence.
The permitted fence, okay.
The applicant's not requesting to maintain an improper fence. It's just that we need to get the permit for it. Or respondent, I'm sorry.
And just to clarify as well, with regard to the parking, you had intimated that the evidence that was submitted prior, that there was a disagreement with regard to off-site parking, but at this time, you're willing to say there will just not be any parking on that
Correct.
those separate parcels in total? Okay.
Correct. The respondent is fine securing the property and not allowing any parking.
Okay, and are you hedging on your argument that it was otherwise considered? So the reason I'm asking is Mr. Thanis did not make a determination whether or not there was a violation of the cited code sections or not. He basically deferred and said, until such time as the conditional use permit is decided on, I'm going to wait on that. So I want to make sure, are you waiving those arguments that and because I haven't read the record that you presented yet, I'm not sure, are you waiving any arguments to the right or the ability to have that as off-site parking?
We are not waiving any of those arguments. We're simply consenting to the fact that we would prefer to have it secured and consenting to not use it.
Okay. And would the city accept, I understand there are two separate violations, would the city accept the respondent's consent, or are you seeking for a finding of fact that there was in fact a violation of the city's code?
Correct.
Okay,
The
so you are
latter.
seeking.
There
okay.
was, by cars being there and there being a process that had not been applied for, they were in violation of the city's code. Correct.
Okay. Understanding, I am prepared to rule on the fence issue, but understanding that these are consolidated cases and I have not yet reviewed the totality of the record from the off-site parking issue, I am going to reserve my ruling at this point, and I'm hoping to get you an order by this afternoon. If not the latest, I will hope to get you an order by tomorrow with my findings. I provide it to all parties. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And with that said, Adriana, could you send me the record from that first meeting where these two cases were heard by Mr. Thanis? Okay, with that, I don't see that there are any other items left to address on the agenda. Is there anything that the city would like to address at this time?
Anything else? No.
Okay, so I will adjourn, and we are having a December meeting on December 10th.
Should have asked before, but yeah, no, we are.
Filled our calendars.
We are.
I was going to say, most of these
Yeah.
got punted because the 13th and the 10th
The
are not
December
within 30
11th,
days,
I know.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have one on the
Okay, well
11th.
then I will see you all. We will adjourn until the December hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.